Preecy, a goalless draw in the end against Spennymoor Town this evening. Really tough conditions. It was never going to be a classic, was it?
No, and it wasn't. It was one where you had to dig in and you had to be resolute. You had to show bravery at times to try and get the ball down, because it was the surface was zippy and a little bit slippy. It wasn't frozen or anything like that. It was just a little bit crusty on the top, and it does make it hard sometimes to keep your feet. But we showed plenty of character and plenty of fight, good discipline. Defensively, we were very strong. But there were a few chances. We probably had the majority of territory and possession in the first half. Probably had the best chance with Tom Carr, where the keeper spread himself really well to keep that out. And they looked dangerous on the counter. They counted us 3 or 4 times. And we managed to, either get back, or I think Matt has made 1 or 2 saves, or we've got back and dealt with that. Actually, in general play, I don't think they created any opportunities, which is an improvement on what the way we've been previously. Just back-to-back clean sheets is great, and at times going forward, there's some really good interplay, especially with Walks and Tom Carr. I thought, and Jack Moore down the right. We create lots of problems down that side. Some great balls in, and it's just one of those days where it didn't drop for us, so we didn't get on the end of it. And then when we did, on the other side, I think Milan and Warren worked it really well, and it come back to Cows, and I don't know whether it hit the post or whether we got cleared off the line or the keeper saved it. So, and it just wouldn't go in. But we gave everything. The lads tried everything to get the win. And if you're not going to win, then make sure you don't lose. And it's 3 unbeaten in the league. We would have liked to win tonight. Another 2 points would have put us 1 point off the playoffs. So you could say it's a bit of an opportunity loss, but it keeps us on an unbeaten run.
From what you've said there, I think you can take real encouragement from the performance of the lads out there. Lots of sort of solid 7s and 8s out of 10 across the board, and 2 who really stood out for me from the sidelines together this evening were Tom Carr and Harry Ibbotson. Really played well together.
Yeah, I thought they were an absolute nuisance for their centre halves. Never give them the second. Linked up really well at times. Like I say, it was just an inch or a foot either way, and they could have scored. Harry did a great piece of skill, and slid it across the box for Tom, and Tom's just a foot away from getting in front of the defender, and those 2 were a proper handful. I thought they were great. Walks, had another good game. Milan had his moments. You can go through the team. Max again. Cowles was steady. I thought the back 4 were excellent, and Matty, when we needed him, was solid. So another solid performance where everybody's contributing, which is important. And we managed to get Jack on at the end as well for 20-25 minutes, which will be good for him and good experience for him, and good to see him on the pitch for us. Just
under 700 in the end this evening in attendance, and I think it has to be said, a real credit to those who did attend the game tonight in the conditions literally below freezing. I can barely feel my toes.
Yeah, it's tough conditions to play in, but tough to watch and to come out, and when it's nice and warm inside, and you got maybe Champions League football on or something else, it's an easy one to sit at home, and so we really appreciate those who came out. They're fantastic at the end of the game as well. Appreciating the lads' effort, and we've just got to, we just got to keep that belief and keep that momentum going. That's the important thing now, because now we're we're sort of back in the playoff picture, and you look right up to, fourth. I think there's a big gap now. Merthyr, I think, they're on 37, but then from there 30, down to 20, 24, 25. There's a lot of teams, so it's still fairly early in the season, so there's still a lot to play for.
Rest up now and look ahead to the weekend's game against Kidderminster Harriers. A tough place to go at Agborough.
Yeah, Kiddy are a good side. They've got a good manager who's got out of this league before. Always a difficult place to go. Always a hostile crowd, and they've got quality players. So we know that'll be difficult. But we've been there and we've managed to get results before. But again, we'll have to have everybody, at their max. You talked about 7 and 8 tonight. When you go to Kiddie, you're going to have to be 8, 9s and 10s to get a result. So, yeah, we'll rest up. We've had 2 tough games on, heavy surface, so we'll have to look how the lads come out of that. But, we're obviously in a lot more positive place after the last 3 results.